and partly because I do not know everything my spouse does. Or maybe the marriage is thriving on whatever grounds or foundation. But then, even though this marriage is thriving, or while this marriage is thriving, I do not know everything my spouse does. I don't have full disclosure of what my spouse does. And yes, our marriage is thriving, and I'm not bothered by it. I'm not even concerned with it. I'm living my life. So let's talk. Should spouses know everything about each other? That's the question I'm asking. Not people that want to marry each other. I said spouse, meaning marriage has happened. All right? So should spouses know everything about each other? And then is personal boundaries okay in marriage? And then we'll also get to look at what exactly is personal boundaries. Because if you say, yes, it's okay, then you tell me what is personal boundaries. And then if you say, it's not okay, also, what is personal boundaries? And then when does privacy become secrecy? And how can couples handle it? How do you say, there's need for privacy. But once you've moved from here to here, that's secrecy. And it should not be condoned. So let's talk, all right? At 2:45 or so, I should be having a recorded program. Exactly. So let's run 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0002, and 0817-923-0007. I'm taking messages on WhatsApp, so please send yours to 0809-030-6416, 0809-030-6416. We're live on Facebook as well, so get on there and drop us your message. Let's hear from you. All right? Should spouses know everything about each other? Is that even possible? And then is personal boundaries okay in marriage? And you also tell me what you think personal boundaries is. And then the other question we're also looking at is, when does privacy become secrecy? Hello, are you there? Good afternoon.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
I love this program you just brought up now.
Interesting. What's your name?
My name is James. I'm calling from Rumaolo.
All right, James, I'm listening.
To me, there's not like privacy in marriage.
Why not?
According to the there's not like privacy in marriage. Let me just use the Bible to define it myself.
Okay.
If you can't hide anything from God, and Bible says you are married to Christ, I don't think you can hide anything from yourself. Because Bible says when a man and a woman come together, they become one. So as soon as possible, you are not able to hide something from yourself. You shouldn't be able to hide from your spouse or from your husband. Because why?
So even when what's his name? Can't remember. All right, hold on. So here's what I'm asking. Even when you know that divulging such an information would be harmful to your spouse, would you still go ahead and bring them in on it?
No, why would I keep an information that will be harmful to my spouse? That's the question.
What do you do?
If I know an information that will be harmful to my spouse, instead of she hearing from someone else, I better open up to her. Because what breaks a lot of marriages is because when you hide something from somebody or your spouse and she heard it outside, that will break your marriage.
All right, thank you very much. Please, when you're calling in, turn off your radio sets. Thank you. So he says, well, there shouldn't be privacy of any sort in the marriage. When you're married to someone, you should be completely open to the person. They should know everything about you. They should know everything happening with you. They should know everything going on with you. What do you think, though? All right? And so I asked, what if you have an information that could be harmful if your spouse got to know? Would you still relay that to them? The state of being free from public attention, a state in which one is not observed or disturbed by other people. Privacy. Hello, good afternoon. What's your name? Oh, I thought I picked the call. Ugh.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm John. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right.
Can you hear me?
I'm listening. Go on.
Yeah, I believe between two spouses, if there is free communication, I believe that there should be openness. But where there is no communication between spouses, that's where privacy comes in.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very, very much. All right. So I'm still looking at the meaning of privacy. The Cambridge Dictionary describes it as the state of being alone, or the right to keep one's personal matters and relationships a secret. Give an example here. A fence will give us more privacy. The Wikipedia says privacy is the ability of an individual or group to seclude themselves or information about themselves and thereby express themselves selectively. Who put that up there? So the thing is, privacy is the right to be let alone. The right to be alone. The right to just not be disturbed. And you're saying there shouldn't be anything like that in marriage. So then, should spouses know everything about each other? Is it even possible to know everything about one's spouse? Please, those of you who are in a marriage where everything is known, or where you think that you know everything about your spouse, please come to our rescue. Let's hear from you. All right? Talk to us about that. Do you know everything about your spouse? Do you believe you know everything about your spouse? Or is openness as a result of what they're able to open up to you? Is it a function of what is revealed to you? You know, sometimes some things are kept away from the other half, not because this person deliberately wants to keep it away from this person, but because it doesn't readily come to mind. They might not even think it's that important for the person to know. They might just want to keep it to themselves. You know, they feel like there's no big deal about this. It doesn't raise an eyebrow. It doesn't protect things. It doesn't make anything better. It's just nothing to worry about. You don't know your spouse has a name, a particular name. And never to you, because they never felt it was, I mean, for many years, nobody has even called them by that name. And so it's not something they readily remember. And then maybe you go to the village or there's some occasion and family members meet, and an aunt or a grandma or even the parent chooses to call them by that name. And you're there, you're lost, you're wondering who are they referring to. And they're referring to your spouse. And then you're just wondering, so you are called this? How come I don't know about this? And the person says, well, nobody has called me that for like ever. It's not like it's a name I remember. I don't go by that name. Like, people don't call me by that name. Is it possible to know everything about a person? Who is your spouse, actually? 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0002, and 0817-923-0007. Those are the numbers to call. And then for your WhatsApp messages, you can send them to 0809-030-6416. We're live on Facebook, so let's also have your comments on Facebook. Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. Ike from Owerri says, naturally, there wasn't supposed to be any form of privacy in marriage. Are you for real now? But considering what is currently happening nowadays, whereby ladies are busy enriching themselves through unnecessary applications for divorce, I believe it's vital to keep and maintain privacy to some extent between couples. Very funny. Okay. Thank you, Ike, for your take there. So how about you? Let's hear from you now. Talk to us. Privacy in marriage. We're discussing privacy versus openness. You know, the man who called in and was using the Bible as an example, I can readily remember a couple of stories in the Bible where people, I mean, even the ones we were told to look up to, look to these people. They should be your example. You find out that there was some level of privacy in that marriage or in their marriage. And it was still a beautiful one. Hey, don't take my word for it, please. Bring your own arguments. Let's hear from you, okay? Bring your strong points to this conversation. Should a couple or should a spouse know everything about their partner? Should spouses know everything about each other? Should there be personal boundaries? In other words, should there be privacy in marriage? Is it okay for a person to have privacy? Someone who is married. Is it okay? And then when does privacy turn to secrecy? And how can that be handled? How can couples handle it? Because someone says, oh, privacy is part of the reasons why marriages or some marriages have broken. All right. Just because somebody just wanted to be left alone, because that's what privacy is. Your right to be left alone, your right to be alone. You can't be with your spouse every minute, every second, what kind of obsession is that? Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. What's your name? Okay, Chinedu, go on.
I want to ask you a question. Assuming Adam didn't tell Eve what God told him, not to eat the forbidden fruit, would Eve be tempted by the devil? That is the question let me ask you. Because when you're talking about privacy, there's nobody in the Bible that God told, don't tell this, I told it to your wife. But in terms of business, as a man, you can keep some things from your wife based on trust. If I marry someone I can't trust, I can keep things private from her. Not because it's the right thing to do, but because I don't trust her. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Your background is quite noisy. I'm really struggling, but thank you all the same for calling. So I'm really thinking about your arguments, right? And I'm just wondering, how is marriage away from your business? Yeah, because he's making it sound like business is my other life, marriage is my other life. Are you not the one who's doing the business? Are you not the one who is in the marriage? So if you're saying, oh, there shouldn't be privacy in marriage, and then you now add that caveat, unless it's business, like, what are you saying? Really? I remember asking him a question. What if the information is such that could be harmful to your spouse? Would you also divulge it to your spouse? Would you relay that to them? Even though you know that if you tell them this, if they are aware of this, they might be in danger. Or they might feel hurt. It might break their heart. Perhaps it's something you did in the past, but you've repented from it. Or something someone did to you a long time ago and you've forgiven them and they are close to you now. Why would you want to tell your spouse about that? If you know that maybe your spouse is a very emotional person.
Hello?
Help me turn off your radio set, please. Good afternoon.
Yeah, Constant Mega. This is Dr. Jack.
All right, you're welcome. Where are you calling from?
Yes. I'm calling from Abonima.
All right. We're listening.
Yes, there should be privacy. Yes, there should be privacy in relationship. But it depends.
Marriage. I'm not saying relationship.
Yes, it depends. Yes.
It depends on what now?
For example,
okay.
If I help some person, I tell a female, and I go and tell my wife, she will not be comfortable with it. So I've known after that.
If I'm helping anybody on my own evolution, that is not our own business. I will not let her know at all. But if you later find out, they ask me, I will say, yes, I did it. So there should be some level of privacy in marriage. It's not everything you tell your wife, not everything you tell your husband. It will bring conflict. Are you with me? And are you with me?
I'm listening.
Yes, it will bring conflict in the marriage. So as a man, as a woman, you need to have some reservation for yourself. Those that is your spouse, your wife, or your husband should know for the things you are doing. But there should be some reservation. Now, for example, if I want to give my mother money now, I gave her last week Sunday, and I want to give, she calls me that I should need money for medical, for a medical drugs. I should tell my wife, that's the way she will behave. She said, this is what I said, she's going to take her money too much. So, yeah, you need to have some privacy, some secrecy.
Yeah, but hold on now. I have a question. So would you, because of fear of misunderstanding or conflict that is a natural thing in relationships, not tell your wife something that is vital?
No. You tell her. You will tell her, but there will be conflict in the marriage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I have a problem with you thinking that there shouldn't be conflict in a marriage. Conflict is natural. Conflict should be there.
Yes.
It's not a bad thing.
Yes, it should be. Sure, it should be there, but you are going to practice this now. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. You're the one talking.
You should avoid it completely.
Okay.
So, to my understanding, that as a man, as a woman, there should be some secrecy in relationship.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. He says secrecy. He's mixing. Okay, I think I should look up the word secrecy because what I've noted is privacy. All right. Someone here says, my partner. It is not possible to know everything about my partner. That was before, but right from the day she said she has loved and chosen from her heart before she got married to me, ever to love her senior sister than me, and with her sister, she can leave her marriage if her sister asks her to do so rather than what... God, I don't know what you're saying. Can you please look at your message again? Thank you. David Dumale, please look at your message again, all right? And be sure of what you're sending to me. A desire to know doesn't always equal a right to know. Sometimes our feeling entitled to know forces people to lie to us and creates unnecessary problems. Even in a marriage, it is not compulsory to know everything. I'm not talking of things like infidelity, or if they had a child before marriage, or if they are involved in criminal behavior, or if they have a disease or stuff like that. With such things, I think a spouse has a right to know, and the one who withholds the information should bear the consequences. Because some people are pathological liars that will lie about totally unnecessary things that are actually verifiable, like what they studied, or if they went to university. Oh my God. Okay. So this person says, my husband's phone and iPad are locked, but he gave me the passwords. Yet, I don't know absolutely everything about him, and he doesn't know everything about me. Not even because we want to hide or lie, but there are other reasons. There are things I've told my husband purely because I felt I had to. I didn't necessarily want to tell him, but I'm in the public eye, and I promised my other half before we got together that as long as we're together, he will never find out something for the first time about me or what I've done from a media outlet, because I don't want him to be blindsided or to look like a fool. And I refuse to put myself in a position where anyone can blackmail me. So no matter how uncomfortable it is, or I think him not knowing will endanger him, I tell him. It's not as if he will beat me. The only negotiable things are how and when I tell him. But I will definitely tell him. All right. Thank you, Anonymous. And what is going on outside? This is the second person greeting me. Good evening. What's happening? Has the weather changed? Good evening, Constance. There's every room for privacy in marriage because there's life before getting married. So whatever happened then remains in the past. Privacy is not secrecy, and vice versa. So in marriage, some things have to remain the way they are. I'm Tochi from Owerri. All right, Tochi. Hello. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Okonkwo from Brumokuta.
All right, go on.
What we should know about marriage and what we should follow was the standard of God. God made men and women and set up their marriage standard. In Matthew chapter 19, from verse 1 to 10, Jesus says, there are no longer two, but one. Ephesians said that two of them must respect themselves in everything. So what is the need of the secrecy? They are one. The family is their own. What two of them have to do is how to build the family and build the children. But because of the modern human beings or the new human beings in the world today, let me tell you that about 50, 60 years ago, that was when the time that we had good marriages. You see, husband and wife, they do everything in common. But today it is not like that. What we have today is a power tussle in a marriage, power competition in a marriage, demonstration of knowledge in marriage. And you can see every day hundreds of families divorce in this country every blessed day. So the marriage today is an act of showing of muscle or showing of power and authority. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much for calling. You know, when people talk like that, I'm almost tempted to ask them, how many marriages have you seen? 60, 50 years ago, that's when people had the best of marriages. I still do not agree. But hey, you're entitled to your argument, right? Okay. So privacy, secrecy. So I wanted to see the difference between secrecy and marriage. Privacy, because someone was like, oh, there should be secrecy in marriage. So before we get to that, let's take this call. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
I am Mr. Court.
All right, Mr. Court, we're listening. Go on.
Yeah, it's, according to the Almighty God who creates heaven and earth and creates human beings, when He creates others, what did He say? He said it is not good for a man to be alone. This is what we are discussing now. And you know all these things that being alone will cause. Without discussing, not discussing, being together, He knows before He says it's not good for a man to be alone. So I don't see any reason why husband and wife shouldn't have time of loneliness or keeping secrets to each other. But as a human being, we choose to be so, but it was not original God's plan. And we are also reaping the consequence of being secretive to each other or being lonely to each other sometimes. But my take is that is not the original God's plan. The original God's plan is for us to open to each other in all ramifications of our life.
All right. Thank you very much for calling, and that's the last call I'm taking right now. David Dumale says, it is impossible to know everything about my partner. All right, thank you very much. And I also agree, I don't think it's possible to know everything about your partner. You're not the CIA, right? How do you want to know everything about the person? Like, how do you plan to know everything? Because there are some things people will keep away from you, not because they are maliciously trying to keep something away from you, or they are consciously, intentionally trying to keep something away from you, but because the person actually didn't think it was important. And some other times people forget stuff. Some other bigger events happen and they forget others and move on. And sometimes, depending on the kind of job you do, there are things you keep private, you keep secret, you keep from your spouse. For their own good. It's not any good. But you still is that open, right? But it's in a way that's also healthy. Some of that. I'm opportunity here to take your heart for